So you want to study Japanese and you want to become conversationally fluent in the quickest way possible. You don't want to follow the same steps as most of us who have gotten to this level of Japanese of conversationally fluent, which is crying ourselves to sleep every night next to a pile of Japanese language textbooks, just hoping that somehow as we sleep we'll naturally become fluent. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't, unfortunately, happen. And there's going to be many times where you struggle becoming fluent in Japanese. So I wanted to make a video giving my top 5 suggestions on what you should do to become conversationally fluent. The first thing I would do if I were to start Japanese all over again is I would learn Hiragana and Katakana. The quicker you can get the English alphabet out of the way, the quicker you can start reading Japanese and learning the pronunciation. When I first started studying Japanese when I was 14 years old, I would not really pay too much attention to pronunciation so much, or anything actually, because I was just reading it in English and learning the words in English that way. And then I was learning grammar in English, and eventually you force yourself to learn Hiragana and Katakana, and I realized I wish I learned this sooner. So, like I said, starting over, I would definitely read Hiragana and Katakana. And as soon as I got done learning Hiragana and Katakana first, I would instantly hop into both vocabulary and grammar at the same time. You can't learn one without the other, and you can't use one without the other. Sure, that you could learn that blank, dakara, blank is this happened because of this, but it's not going to help you if you don't know any words, right? Ringo tabetakatta kara, ringo o tabeta. Like, if you couldn't say apple in taberu, what are you gonna do? So as soon as you start learning the vocabulary, I would recommend, rather than waiting and leaving kanji off as long as possible, you can do it 2 ways, right? So if you take the book, remembering the kanji, for every kanji you learn, you could look up the words that go along with the kanji. That way you're learning vocabulary and kanji together. Or you can use an application that I use. I think it cost $3 when I bought it. It goes through all kanji from N5 to N1, and it's very, very convenient, and it utilizes the SRS system, so spaced repetition system. Therefore, you will have to continuously be reminded how to write that kanji, how to read that kanji, and the words it's used in, and it's just an incredible app. I wouldn't recommend it more. It's a little bit finicky sometimes, like with the kanji for mother. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, or I'm trying to think, there's other kanji, like hata. So hata is a pain in the butt on that application, but it's actually easy. Let me write it down real quick so I can show you guys. So this is what it looks like. Not that difficult once you get used to it, but on the application, these little tiny characters hiding there become hard to write. Okay, so you've learned vocabulary, you've learned hiragana, katakana, you've learned grammar, and now you are learning kanji. What's the next step? I don't want to say instantly use your Japanese in a conversation because you'll embarrass yourself and potentially discourage yourself. What I will say is instantly use your Japanese reading manga. The best manga to start off with, I would say, was Yotsubato. It is an incredible manga, a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. I've read almost all of the ones that I own. I own 12 and I've read 9 of them. Unfortunately, again, I over-jumped when I started studying, and I jumped straight into my first manga being Kimi no Na wa. Kimi no Na wa is a great manga, and I did read all 3 of them, but it took me twice as long as it would now because I had to look up every word. It was pure hell. So now we're going to get into what kind of books you should use to study grammar and to study vocabulary. The best books to study vocabulary would be, there's books called Tango, and then there's the N level that they're corresponding with. You can use that, or like I said, you can use the kanji app to learn kanji and vocabulary at the same time. You could also use Duolingo. You can use a bunch of things. You could download Anki flashcards off of the internet and use those. For grammar, I would recommend the Genki books. The Genki books are really, really good to just kind of teach you everything you need to know. And you can become conversationally fluent off of just these 2 books. If you want to become more advanced, you can get the books that come after that, which are the quartet books. I have read through all of these except for this last one. I haven't even opened it, I don't think, yet. But maybe I will. Maybe I will open it, I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. If you are not someone who is used to learning in a cramped style, where everything's kind of coming at you all at once, I would recommend the Japanese from Zero textbooks by George Trombley, and there is an actual YouTube series accompanying those textbooks where he gives you lectures corresponding with the book. It's incredible, and I credit a lot of my Japanese progress to George Trombley's YouTube channel. Another YouTube channel you can read if you get the Genki books, another YouTube channel you could choose would be Toki ni Andy. Great channel, really recommend it. He goes through and he teaches you everything along with the book and explains it a little bit different in a better way, and I agree with a lot of his explanations on them, because sometimes the Genki books don't exactly explain to you the right feeling. I don't know how to explain it. You'll understand in the future. Almost every native I've spoken to has told me my accent is almost native. There's a little bit of intonation issues, which comes in time. You learn that naturally. Which brings me to my next point. Ignore everybody telling you to study pitch accent. All it's going to do is complicate everything. And you know what? You don't know where you're going to end up if you move to Japan. You don't know if you're going to end up speaking Tokyo Japanese, Hakata-ben, or if you're going to speak Kansai dialect. You don't know, right? Pitch accent is something that you're going to learn naturally. Please don't focus so much on it. I don't know why everybody's freaking out about it. I don't want you to think, oh, I'm going to be fluent and I'm going to be speaking to my friends in 6 months in Japanese. I'm going to be so good at Japanese. Oh yeah, don't do that to yourself. Set realistic goals. And what I mean by realistic goals, I mean expect hardships, expect failure, but also expect yourself to look back down the ladder, right? And see how much progress you've made. Don't keep looking up too high. Only focus on that next rung. And every time you climb one rung, you can look down and see how far you've come. Don't look up and see how far you have to go, because then you're going to feel discouraged and you're not going to want to do it anymore. If you're just starting off studying any language, truly, you're going to be really slow to start with. But as soon as you get used to the grammar, as soon as you get used to the vocabulary, you're going to really quickly improve. It's actually insane. It's an incredible feeling once you're able to hold several conversations, or once you're able to just go an entire day speaking Japanese, or I've gone entire weeks speaking Japanese. And being able to do that is a great feeling. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys have any other questions about learning Japanese, or if you guys want to hear about how much Japan has changed me, or if you guys want to see me do a series called Field Trip, which is something I've been thinking of doing, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.